absolutely crazy. Almost $1 billion being liquidated in the cryptocurrency market in the past 24 hours, and another huge liquidation event is incoming. Will Bitcoin take out the longs or the shorts first? Let's analyze. Hello ladies and gentlemen of the Paradise Club, this is Simon from My Crypto Paradise. In the previous videos I have told you that if we will reclaim this resistance, we will go to a new price discovery target at around $121,000. After we have hit that, we have got a rejection. Well, and right now we are consolidating right below it, and right now we are also creating something extremely interesting right here that will help us to determine what's going to happen next. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about this, but first of all, let's have a look what's going on behind the scenes, because it's extremely important to understand what's going on behind the consolidation price action you are seeing right here. So if we take a look at it, if we take a look at the futures market first, and then we will compare it with the spot market, open interest is declining. As you can see, we are having a bearish trend where we are creating lower lows and lower highs. Yeah, so this is important to understand. Open interest is decreasing. That means people are offloading their positions. If we take a look at the cumulative volume delta, it's also in a bear trend, and it basically means there is much more aggressive selling than buying. So it basically suggests that if the open interest is declining together with the cumulative volume delta in this consolidation, ladies and gentlemen, where the price is not really making lower lows and lower highs, somebody is offloading their long positions, okay? But because of the price not moving, it seems like somebody is absorbing the selling pressure. And if we take a look at the spot exchange and the cumulative volume delta, it's also declining, right? So who is actually absorbing the selling pressure? Because on the market orders, we can see loads of aggressive selling, right? So let's have a look what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. If we take a look at the VPVR right here at a futures exchange, we can indeed see that loads of selling pressure at the point of control is happening. But if we shift our focus on the spot exchange, we can see that the delta from the volume profile is actually green. That means that selling pressure that is being created by closure of the long positions on the futures market, ladies and gentlemen, is actually being absorbed. And if we understand that the order book suite is going in a positive numbers, that means there is more bids than asks. We can see that somebody smart who is using a limit buy orders is absorbing the selling pressure created by the long positions. That is why you have this consolidation and the price is not going down, even though there is loads of offloading of long positions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very important, but let's take a look at the cumulative accumulated crypto funding rates. You can monitor that with me on our website mycryptoparadise.com, and you can see we are still pretty red, right? From the accumulated point of view, the long positions are still extremely outsizing the short positions. That means the vulnerability for some huge squeeze is still going to the downside, right? So I'm talking about big moves like 20-30% candles, okay? But this is already starting to change a little bit. You can see that the numbers are actually less positive than it was, and it represents the offloading of the futures long positions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is being updated once per day because this is accumulated funding rates. So tomorrow, this I do believe will be looking absolutely different, and with the Paradise team we are monitoring that and using in our trading strategies and trading tactics that help us to enter and exit from positions. If we take a look at the fear and greed index, again a special one that we are monitoring with the help of AI from social media and across multiple crypto related platforms, we can see that right now we are declining from that point 80. You know how important this point 80 and the point 20 is, and as you can see right now we are going down from it, but we are in almost a neutral zone, even though we are still very highly in the greed level because we are right below the point 80. We are entering neutral zone that is between 60 and 40. Okay, if we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we are already at the level between 60 and 40, and we are in a neutral zone. So this is important important to watch how the sentiment is changing. If you take a look at the 15 minutes time frame, you can see that we are going after touching that 20 points to the upside, and that's also really helping the price action to basically go to the upside from the lower time frame perspective. Here we had hit on the fear and greed index the 20 points, and as you can see, it's right now going to the upside. It's because if you are having loads of market participants in the short term panicking, it's creating for you selling pressure that if you are a market maker can absorb and use for your big buying orders. And that's exactly what the market makers are doing. That is why the fear and greed index I'm watching all the time on our website mycryptoparadise.com. If we take a look at liquidation pools, ladies and gentlemen, there is a huge one at around $121,000 and also at $121,000. Below us, a liquidation pool at around $116,000. So very important to watch out these levels, because this is where the short position stop losses and liquidation levels are hidden, and here where the long positions, the over leveraged long positions, are hiding their stop losses and their liquidation levels. So extremely important to understand where it is, because if you are long or short, you should be placing your stop losses below these levels, so then when there is going to be some liquidation hunt, you are being secured. Okay, if we take a look right now at the price action, we will start first of all at ultra high time frame chart. Very quickly I will go through this, but before that, let me show you the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. This is extremely interesting. Did the US government just dump $20 billion in Bitcoin? The rumor that refuses to die. Ladies and gentlemen, extremely important and critical story, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at it. I will put link in the description below this video. Read it. It will blow your mind what the Trump and everybody in the government right now is doing. Okay, let's take a look at the ultra high time frame candlestick patterns. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what's going on, right? I've shared that with you in the previous videos. We have created a shooting star candlestick pattern. Okay, you know that the shooting star candlestick pattern from our MCP Free University on our website mycryptoparadise.com is not really a bullish sign, right? Why? Because there is lots of aggressive selling going on, because the price went to the upside and then the bear has been very aggressive and pushed the price to the downside. Okay, and that's why the body of the candle is so small and the wick is so high above the body of the candle. Okay, that basically suggests that the bears are very aggressive, and usually this is a sign of a reversal, but it needs confirmation. It needs the second and third candle sometimes to confirm the bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. However, if you spectate this shooting star candlestick pattern at the top of some bull trends, be very careful. And let's have a look what's happening right here, ladies and gentlemen. We have created this shooting star candlestick pattern after reaching our target $121,000. Well, and right now we are about to close in 3 days and 9 hours the weekly candle, and it will really depend a lot on this candle. Okay, if it's gonna close bearishly, let's take a look how it happened right here, how we have been able to confirm that we will start dropping in January starting this year, ladies and gentlemen. We have also created the shooting star candlestick pattern after touching our resistance trend line of this ending diagonal pattern. As you remember, we have been updating you about every moves. It was a beautiful price action, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely beautiful price action. If you have been around in Paradise and VIP, you know how we have been enjoying this beautiful consolidation inside of that ending diagonal. It was very clear pattern, ladies and gentlemen, very easy to trade. And after we have created the shooting star candlestick pattern, we have confirmed it with this bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. Not only it closed as a red candle, but also it closed below the body of the previous created candle that formed a shooting star pattern, and also it had all of the important stuff that basically confirmed that we are about to start going to the downside. So you already know how important is going to be this weekly close, ladies and gentlemen. If we can close above the $121,000, we will be then watching out if we can turn this 121 resistance into a support. If yes, we will be moving towards a new price discovery target, $135,000. So extremely important how this weekly candle is going to close, because if it's gonna close like this, ladies and gentlemen, we are most likely starting a correction, and this B wave corrective mode wave, as you know already, we are creating this idealized corrective corrective wave that where the A wave already happened, that was this one, and right now we are making the corrective B wave that can go beyond the A wave, ladies and gentlemen, and if we will spectate its finish, we are then going to create a C wave. But you already know about this from the previous videos. Right here I'm just updating you very quickly what's going on right here and what we are waiting for. Let's right now zoom in and take a look what's going on the daily time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the dangerous sign on the RSI. Right here we are at the point 70, which is basically the point of control. Above the point 70, it's an overbought area, very dangerous. Okay, if you're a mean reversion trader like me, you always want to go against the crowd, against the herds. All right, it's the most profitable trading strategy because you can place your stop losses very tightly to your entry level, and then you can ride the waves very far away because you are basically targeting the another extreme, which is the point 30, where you will be taking maximum of your profits when you are going back to oversold area. Right now the RSI indicator, however, can maintain its support and stay at that 70 point or below or a little bit above it for a while, right? That's why we are waiting for confirmations. One of the confirmations is a successful reclaim, and as you can see right now we have got a breakout, we have got the retest, and it will right now depend on couple of the next candles that will close on the daily time frame, because if you will start breaking the moving average RSI trend line back to the upside, we will maintain at that point 70 for a little bit longer. That is why I'm right now watching with the Paradise team what's going on right here. You can see that we have retested that channel support for 2 times already, once and twice. If this is gonna close as a bullish hammer candlestick pattern with this nice wick below us, it will really tell me that we are basically defending this point of control from the VPVR right here, and the bulls are getting very aggressive. And if that's going to be the case, we are not creating an ABC. That means we have not finished the higher degree B wave just yet, and we are indeed instead creating an impulse, ladies and gentlemen. And this will not be A, this will be first wave, this will be a second wave, third wave, and then fifth wave that with the highest probability will take us towards $135,000. So it's extremely important to watch out how the daily candles will be closing, ladies and gentlemen. If we get a bullish confirmations, we will be counting with this as a fourth wave from our impulse. As you know, from the Elliott wave perspective, impulse is a motive mode wave, ladies and gentlemen, and appears at the C wave of and zigzag. As you can see, the M right here that represents motive mode wave. Okay, and usually with the highest probability it's impulse all the time. Okay, most of the times, I mean not all the time, sometimes it can be also a ending diagonal, but in very impulsive markets in which we are right now, where there is not enough liquidity, current daily market participants are at low levels because of the global economical situation, the waves are basically usually being very impulsive, and that's what's impulse all about, right? So this C wave can be subdividing itself into 5 smaller waves, an impulse. All right, so this might be an impulse, ladies and gentlemen. However, if we are about to start closing back below the ascending trend line right here, and we will have a beautiful reclaim, it will support the RSI, and I will be waiting for a couple of confirmations right here and then riding the price aggressively to the downside again with a beautiful risk to reward opportunity. This is going to be just the first target, by the way, okay? Or maybe we will just place a stop loss to break even with Paradise Family VIPs right here. It will all depend on the current price action and how the price action is gonna be unfolding in the next couple of days and weeks. But right now we are holding, so no shorts confirmations from the current price perspective. If we will zoom and take a look at what's going on the 4-hour time frame, ladies and gentlemen, there is a possibility that we are indeed creating the impulse, that C wave from the higher time frames, where this was the first wave, this is the second wave, which created a running flat pattern. Then this was the third wave, this was a small fourth wave that basically was a triangle, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be talking about this triangle as well because it seems like it might be a fractal, okay? And the smaller is basically copying the larger, and we are about to have next impulsive movement to the upside the same way we had it right here. So this is the fifth wave, ladies and gentlemen, of the higher degree third wave. I'm talking about this one, right? As you can see, it's also a motive mode wave. That means this smaller wave is subdividing into even smaller 5 waves, and the third wave is an always impulse. And right now we have got 5 moves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as I have already showed you. And right now we are creating a fourth wave, ladies and gentlemen. Fourth wave from the impulse perspective is a corrective mode wave. So it can subdivide itself into 3 waves or variations of thereof. It can be zigzag, flat, double zigzag, but most often the fourth wave is lateral correction. It's not a deep correction like a zigzag is. So most of the time the fourth wave is subdividing itself into some triangles, okay? Either a contracting, expanding, or skewed, alright? Right now, however, I do believe that there is a possibility that we might be creating an ABCD horizontal triangle. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look what I'm talking about right here. This could be the A wave, this could be the B wave, C wave, D wave, and the E wave might be created or it's been currently in creation. However, does this suggest that we should be aggressively long in right now? During this consolidation, ladies and gentlemen, you should be doing the absolute opposite. You should be shorting the resistances if you are a short-term trader and long in the supports. Again, if you are a short-term trader like a scalper, day trader, but if you are a swing trader and you are waiting for the big moves, you should be waiting for confirmations. What I'm waiting for right now is a clear sign of either breaking above this contracting triangle, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see, I have created here the Fibonacci retracement levels. I have taken the D wave right here. I've placed one Fibonacci point right here and the second one right here. So I'm analyzing this section, this price section, this smaller time frame cycle, okay, because it's also a market cycle but on the smaller time frame. And as you can see, it gave me a beautiful levels 618 and 786, and currently the price is perfectly testing the 786 and also the top of the horizontal of the contracting descending trend line. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to see, because this is right now acting as a resistance, so basically turn it red, I will smaller the PX right like this, and what I'm waiting for is a clear break to the upside, basically a clear reclaim. You know already what I'm talking about, right? So I'm talking about reclaim where you need to have a big breakout with more than average volume, ladies and gentlemen, and that's not enough. Then I'm waiting for a real reclaim that also contains a retest, a bullish retest where we will turn this resistance into a support. Then I will shift my focus on 15, 1 hour, 5 minute time frame, and I'm waiting for some confirmations that will give me a great tactical entry into a long position, okay? So I'm waiting for some double bottom, some bullish candlestick patterns, etc. Well, and if I will be nicely confirmed that also whales are entering here, I will be entering with the whales and I will be looking this to create from this level a nice entry, okay? And then it really depends on what kind of trader are you. Like, I will definitely be placing stop loss to break even once we start hitting this resistance. My stop loss can be very tight, or if I'm conservative, if I feel more aggressive, I can just place it right below these lows. But the targets will be, in the end, the final target for me as a swing trader, it will be at that $135,000, right? So the $135,000 extremely important, ladies and gentlemen. So with Paradise and VIPs, if we will decide to take this long, if we will get that confirmations, we will be taking profits along the way strategically, okay? But this will be our major target from where I will be then looking for some nice short entries, aggressive short entries, okay? So right now it's really a decision point, because as you know from the previous videos, we are also creating this head and shoulders pattern, which is not invalidated until we can break above this high right here. This is the right shoulder of the head and shoulders pattern, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see. And on our website, you can read how to trade these patterns. So you are basically waiting for the breakout of the neckline. If we get a breakout of the neckline, and we will also invalidate the contracting triangle by basically the price going below, then having the reclaim, I will be taking some nice short trades right here at the retest after confirmations. And as you already know, our first target will be at at around $110,000. So again, ladies and gentlemen, paradisers, it's all about being strategic, waiting for confirmations, understanding the holistic context of the market, and then acting based on that tactically. As you can see also, what's making me quite questioning how the bears are doing right now are these wicks. You can see this is exactly at the point of control from the VPVR. That's the aggressive buying, that's the absorption of the selling pressure from that long positions that are being closed, what we have been talking about, right? So this is very aggressive buying by some smart players, ladies and gentlemen. These wicks are considered very bullish. So we are waiting right now how this is gonna unfold. Once we get confirmations with the Paradise team, we will be acting aggressively. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you are enjoying these videos and if it gives you some value, smash the like button. And as you already know, I'm recording for you every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. So again, I will see you on Saturday. Cheers!
My crypto paradise.